Hello everyone, a very warm good afternoon to one and all present over here. I am back again with a wonderful session of IELTS practice test where I am solving questions for you all so that you guys get to know what all sorts of issues and mistakes that you don't have to commit at the time of your examination and preparation. Okay, so yes, come on, let me know that you guys are here and eagerly waiting for the session. I hope that you guys have enjoyed your Diwali and I hope that your festivals were amazing. Now just get back to the pace and get back to the page and let's start up with the session and the practice that we are waiting for. And again, now it's time for you to be serious for your IELTS examination. Okay. So come on, let me know that you guys are here and please mark your attendance so that I can start up the session. And if you have missed the session and if you have missed any of the topic that I have already covered, make sure you get back to our videos and have a quick look to that so that you don't forget and you don't commit a mistake. And there are lots of insight that I've already given. So make sure you consider them and allocate them, apply them to your practice so that you get your desired band score. Okay, so without wasting any further time, let's get started with the session and let me just make you clear what are the topics I'll be covering today. So yes, here are the topics. So today I'm going to start up a very interesting session and it is one of the best and easiest question that you can encounter in your IELTS Writing Task 1 academic. So basically today I'm going to teach you about a little bit of cyclic diagram. Okay, if you know, Writing Task 1 consists of a bar chart, line graph, pie chart and cyclic diagram. Non-cyclic diagram, flow chart, map and comparative diagram. So basically if I talk about and if I can just have a gist of it, if I can give you a gist of it, basically it deals with a diagram. There is going to be a diagram which is going to be cyclic. Now what is a cyclic diagram? I'll be telling you that in detail, but as of now I'm just giving you a quick short intro of it. So basically cyclic diagram is a kind of a diagram which which goes in a cyclic. Basically it talks about a process. Okay, it might talk about a natural process or it can be a process of manufacturing something, so these are the things that you can encounter in your cyclic diagram of your IELTS examination, which is Writing Task 1 academic. Okay, on top of that, hello Rahul, very good morning. It's good afternoon by the way. Okay, I hope you're doing great. Anyways, that's okay. So yes, so these are the things that you can encounter in your IELTS examination. And if I talk about the cyclic, so it is one of the most, and you just feel yourself lucky if you're going to encounter this kind of a diagram in your IELTS examination, because majority of effort that gets end when this kind of question comes. You don't have to put a lot of efforts on that. You just need to look up onto the diagram and explain the things clearly, right? Chalo. Now let's get started. Introduction to cyclic diagram, reading the question and definitely the answer that I'll be providing it to you. Okay, now let's get started. Here is the diagram. You can just have a quick look at the diagram. So before moving ahead, I would just like to make you aware of what is a cyclic diagram and how you can read the question in order to come up with a proper response. Okay, so the very first thing that I would like to tell you over here is the introduction. What do I mean by introduction? I mean what kind of diagram you can have over here. The diagrammatical representation over here shows how sugar is produced from sugar cane. Okay. Now, even though you know the process, I have already told you, even though you know the process, even though you are very well aware of what exactly the diagram is talking about, still you don't have to rely on the piece of information that you have, but you have to rely on the piece of information that's already given in the question. Okay, so ye cheeze I have already told you, but still I'm going to repeat it because I know after so long I'm taking sessions, you guys haven't revised anything. That is something that I already know. So just to make you, just to have a quick revision to that, I'm just making you aware of all these things. So kya bola maine? Whenever you are dealing with any question in your IELTS examination, irrespective of the module if I talk about, be it listening, reading, writing, you have to make one thing sure, and that is that whatever is being given and written in your examination, you have to rely on that and you do not have to rely on the information that you already have, because there might be possibility that there are a lot of topics that are going to be familiar to you that might come, right? Chalo. Now let's get started. So before that, I would like to tell you what's a cyclic diagram. Just an introduction, so that iska kuch karna nahi hai examination mein. Just an introduction, it's just a gist. I'm going to give it to you. ठीक है? तो साइक्लिक डायग्राम बेसिकली इट कम्स इन साइकिल, ठीक है. दे डू नॉट हैव अ प्रॉपर स्टार्टिंग एंड एंडिंग. यू कैन जस्ट नेम द स्टेप like anywhere in the entire process, because if you can just have a quick look, it's going like this. Right? So the process that is going on over here is cyclic in nature. It is revolving. It is cyclic in nature. It means from here, when the process is starting, it's going to get back again to the same place. Right? This is what it means by cyclic diagram. If I talk about 9 non-cyclic diagram, basically that also tells you about the process, but the process is going to be a straightforward one, not a cyclic one. It means it's not going to be repeated. Right? Hello Sayash, very good afternoon. Glad to see you after so many days. Okay, thank you so much. And yes, I'm also very happy to start off with the classes, and I was really excited to start off with it because it's been so long and I know you guys might have been waiting. Okay, now, ठीक है, ये हो गया. So, cyclic diagram usually talks about the process. ठीक है, which is in cycle, which means it is continuing in nature. ठीक है, it continues. It has a habit, it has a tendency that it continues in nature, and majorly we talks about the process or a life cycle. At times you can see a life cycle of an insect, you can see a life cycle of a bird, you can see a life cycle of any animal, or you can see a process of manufacturing something. Okay, this is how it goes. Okay, good afternoon Sumit. Are you teaching agriculture engineering today? No, I'm not teaching agricultural engineering today. It's just a format, it's just a question of writing task 1. I'm teaching that only. So, yes. Now pay attention over here. Okay? Now, next. ठीक है, it does not has any starting or ending, any particular starting or ending. You can just name any of the step. You can start off with any of the step and then you can continue. ठीक है, because the process है, वो process एक step से शुरू होके वापस से वहीं वो step वो repeat करेगा. ठीक है, that is the thing. Okay, ये तो हो गई cyclic diagram. It does not has to do anything with the question. एक normal सा gist था, एक normal सी a sort of introduction था that I have already given you. Oh, I thought you have changed your subject of teaching. No, I haven't changed my subject of teaching. It would be great if you can just focus on, studying. Now, let me just give you a gist of what are the things that you need to read when you are reading the question. अब आ जाओ यहाँ पे. अब now let's talk about reading of the question. ठीक है. अब देखो यहाँ पे क्या है. You can see in the question they have already given you steps. ठीक है. तो कभी-कभी किसी question में होगा कि they are going to give you the entire thing. कभी-कभी they are not going to give you. So you have to name it on your own. ठीक है. Just to have a clarity. Always remember one thing that I always keep on repeating, and your priority should be clarity of the content, right? Clarity of the content. This is why, this is on which the examiner is going to mark you. ठीक है, ये तो पता है. ठीक है, अब आ जाओ आगे. सबसे पहले तो क्लैरिटी को ध्यान देना है. एंड इफ यू forgotten, then please let me remind it to you that the very first thing that you are going to have a quick look as, सबसे पहले तो you are going to read the instructions. ठीक है, सबसे पहले क्या करना है? Instructions. Okay, after instructions you have to read the question. When I say read the question over here, I mean read the diagram. ठीक है, you have to read the diagram, and once you have read the diagram, उसके बाद क्या करना है? You have to write your response and then you have to revise it. ये हो गया आपका entire procedure. ठीक है, that is something that I have already told you. Got it? Very good afternoon, Sharda. I hope you're doing great. ठीक है, तो क्या करना है, सबसे पहले इंट्रोडक्शन डन विद द रीडिंग ऑफ द डायग्राम, देन राइट एंड रिवाइज. मेक श्योर यू रिवाइज योर रिस्पॉन्सेज प्रॉपर्ली. इफ यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू रिवाइज इट, देन डेफिनेटली एंड इवेंचुअली you are going to come up with some or the other mistakes which are going to be very silly in nature, and that is something that I would not recommend you anyhow. ठीक है, चलो अब आ जाते हैं. इंस्ट्रक्शन हो गया, रीड द डायग्राम हो गया, रिवाइज हो गया. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी हैव डन विद द इंस्ट्रक्शंस. ठीक है, क्या इंस्ट्रक्शन है? यू हैव टू समराइज द इंफॉर्मेशन. इफ यू हैवंट हैड अ लुक, जस्ट हैव अ क्विक लुक. द डायग्राम बिलो shows the manufacturing process of making sugar from sugarcane. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. ठीक है. Ma'am, how was your Diwali? My Diwali was great. Thank you so much for asking, and it was wonderful as I celebrated it with my family. Ma'am, can we extend writing based on image given? Like in the image, the man is plugging some crops. Can we write he is plugging wheat or barley crops? Sumit, if you can see, if you can have a clear look at the diagram is entirely based on extracting sugar from sugarcane. The entire process is being discussed over here. So yes, you cannot say that the man is harvesting sugarcane, but you can say, like, always try to write the answers in a generalized manner. ठीक है, it's like whenever you are writing the answers of writing task 1, it needs to be professional because you are doing a report writing. Report writing always needs to be professional in nature. Getting it? So what do we do? It's not actually bad. It's just that if you can just maximize your screen, it will be okay. So you can just adjust the quality if you want. ठीक है, चलो now let's have a quick look. So very first step is like growing 12 to 18 months. It's written. ठीक है. One thing that you need to make sure is for which you are on the safer side is the vocabulary. ठीक है. तो जो vocabulary होती है, vocabulary is already given in the diagram. So basically what usually happens कि writing task 1 जब cyclic आप solve करते हो, वहाँ पे आपको vocab को लेकर परेशान नहीं होना पड़ता है. ठीक है, the only additional contribution you are going to give is on the connectors and nothing else apart from that. Okay, the only additional contribution you are going to give is on the connectors, right? No additional vocabulary is needed. No synonyms is needed, because definitely the thing that is already given in the question, उसको you cannot make a synonym of. ठीक है, there might be some words जिसको आप synonym convert कर सकते हो. Basically verbs are paraphrased, right? So वहाँ पे आप वहाँ पे उसको synonym में convert कर सकते हो if needed, but majorly the words that are already given in the question, try not to play with them. Otherwise it might happen because you are in an examination hall, so हो सकता है because of some or the other reason you might end up writing some words which are not exactly matching to the context or the reference. Okay, मैम Sumit, of course sugar cane का कोई synonym नहीं होता है. ठीक है, तो it cannot be paraphrased. I told you verbs are paraphrased, not nouns. Okay, now done. Vocabulary में connectors. Now there are some words that are written over here. For example, growing, sugar canes, harvesting. Okay, so the second step that you can see is harvesting. Okay, so you can see the harvesting is being done through 2 ways. Okay, so 2 ways. The first is through machine, though it's not entirely given how the machine works or how the process of machine goes ahead. So it's not important for you to write the clear description. अगर diagram में नहीं दिया है कि कोई particular process कैसे हो रहा है, do not focus a lot on writing about that particular thing. It's going to be a total waste of time and energy, right? तो यहाँ पे you can see one is being done manually. ठीक है, one is being done manually and one is being done by machine. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे ये देख लो, and then the entire after the harvesting is being done, it's been combined and crushing is a process that takes place over there. ठीक है, ये हो गया. After that, crushing of what? Sugar cane, to which what we can see juice over here. ठीक है, basically majority of the vocabulary that are going to be mentioned in the diagram and that are going to be there in the diagram for your reference. ठीक है, अब आ जाओ इधर. Now third, and then here comes the fourth procedure, which is purifying of juice. तो जो sugar cane से जो crush करके उसके जो juice निकलते हैं, that juice is being purified over here, to which limestone filter, by using what? By using a limestone filter. ये चीज already दी हुई है. And always remember the words which are already given, try not to skip. I'm just writing it down over here for your reference so that you don't forget. ठीक है, try not to skip the words which are already given in the question. ठीक है, this is something that I would like to give you as a reminder. ठीक है, now यहाँ पे हो गया limestone filter से what we did, we purified the juice. ठीक है, अब क्या हो गया यहाँ पे, evaporator. So the fifth process is evaporator. Now evaporator is being used as the heat is being, you know, there is this container, okay, so the heat is provided so that the evaporation takes place and juice becomes syrup. When the evaporation takes place, what is limestone filter? Why don't we use normal filter made of cloth? It is because it is a process on a larger scale, so definitely we cannot use a filter with cloth because it's going to it's not going to filter it like really good. So but at the same time, these kind of information are not going to help you in order to ace your IELTS examination. So it's a recommendation, kindly focus on those point of information which is going to be helpful and how you can make your answer presentable. Okay. Now, the next one is the sixth process that you can see is centrifuge, which is separation of sugar crystal from syrup. Okay, here you can see a sort of machine out here. It is not going to give you any kind of a description or sort of a thing. So it's like it's just a centrifuge. The entire process is known as centrifuge, which means separation of sugar crystal from the syrup, and then eventually at the end drying and cooling. Drying and cooling of what? Drying and cooling of sugar. Okay, this is what the entire process is reflecting and presenting. I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay? This is reading of the diagram. Now, I have done it in a very nice manner by taking a lot of time, but definitely you guys are not having a lot of time for that. So, make sure you take, you make sure you bifurcate your time in such a manner that you can allocate it for reading of the question, reading of the instructions and writing as well. So, make sure you take that into consideration. Okay? Chalo. Now, let's move ahead and let's understand what are the things that we are going to cover when we are going to write up with our answer. And क्या फॉर्मेट यूज करते हैं, आई नो सब भूल गए होगे तुम लोग, ठीक है, याद तो होगा नहीं फॉर्मेट. सो लेट मी जस्ट हैव अ क्विक रिमाइंडर टू यू. ठीक है, नाउ हियर इज वेयर वी आर गोइंग टू राइट आवर सोल्यूशन. ठीक है, क्या फॉर्मेट यूज करते थे हम लोग? द फॉर्मेट यूज टू बी IOB फॉर्मेट. व्हाट इज दैट? IOB. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ IOB? याद है? नहीं याद है? What is the format? IOB, which is introduction, overview and body. Clear? क्या था? Introduction, overview and body. So very first thing, we are done with the reading of the question. Now we are going to write the introduction. ठीक है? The very first thing that I am going to write is the introduction, and how we are going to write it. Introduction is nothing but the paraphrasing of the question. Writing task 1 में make sure आप कोई additional information provide ना करें. Why it is important to use this equipment, why it is important to use that equipment, hygiene and all that, until and unless it is already given in the question, do not mention it. ठीक है? तो always try to mention those kind of information which is already given. I don't actually have 5 minutes. It's better if we can just revert, like, you know, within a very small amount of time. It will be great. Okay? Of course याद नहीं है. याद होता तो तुम लोग बता देते हैं ना तुरंत. तुम लोग बता ही नहीं रहे हो, तो याद तो है नहीं. ठीक है. Now, let's have a quick look at the introduction. तो सबसे पहले what we are going to write? ठीक है, कैसे? By paraphrasing. Ma'am, my typing speed is low. Okay, fine, I'll wait for you, but make sure you increase your typing skills so that I can, continue with the session properly. ठीक है, चलो, क्या है? The diagram below shows the manufacturing process for making sugar from sugarcane. The diagram below. अच्छा, I have already told you कि ये जो term है below हम usually use नहीं करते हैं in our IELTS writing task 1 because we are not presenting any kind of a diagram. So it's really very important. How to book your demo class? Can you guide me? You can just get in touch with our PW counselors. They are going to help you in order to guide you through the master class that we usually have. ठीक है, चलो, द डायग्राम शोज, तो क्या कर सकते हैं? द डायग्राम, अब यहाँ पे डायग्राम लिखा है. ऑलवेज रिमेंबर व्हेन यू आर गोइंग टू पैराफ्रेज द सर्टेन क्वेश्चन, यू नीड टू मेक श्योर व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ डायग्राम इज मेंशन. if it is a bar chart, if it is a pie chart, if it is a line graph, so make sure you write that particular diagram so that you can ace good marks in task achievement. Right, now this entire introduction deals with the task achievement. तो क्या है the diagram? So what am I going to write? Now what's the next thing? The cyclic diagram. अब यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Shows लिखा है. तो instead of shows, I'm going to write any other synonym that's going to be mentioned. ठीक है? Depicts the manufacturing process. Depicts what? The manufacturing process. So I'm going to write that cyclic diagram depicts the stages. The stages involved The cyclic diagram depicts the stages involved in manufacturing sugar from sugar cane. ठीक है, this is how the entire process is going on. ठीक है, the cyclic diagram depicts the stages involved in manufacturing of sugar from clear, done, sorted, and you don't have to write anything else apart from that. This is the entire introduction that you're going to write. Clear? Now I'm giving you some time. Please let me know that it's clear or not. ठीक है? Introduction, the cyclic diagram depicts the stages involved. Instead of stages involved, you can write, क्योंकि यहाँ पे already 7 stages दिए हुए हैं, ठीक है? तो you can also write that the cyclic diagram depicts the 7 stages that are involved in the manufacturing of sugar from the sugar cane. Clear? Good. Thank you. ठीक है? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. नाउ इंट्रोडक्शन हो गया. मेक श्योर अगर आप इंट्रोडक्शन ओवरव्यू, अगर आपको इंट्रोडक्शन ओवरव्यू साथ में लिखना है, यू कैन राइट देम टुगेदर एज वेल, बट मेक श्योर इफ यू वांट टू राइट देम, if you want to show the bifurcation of introduction, overview and body, make sure you at least leave one line in between them so that it can be bifurcated clearly. ठीक है, तो इंट्रोडक्शन के लिए this is the opening line. इंट्रोडक्शन मत लिखना. I have written it just for your reference. You should try not to write introduction. ठीक है, ऐसे नहीं लिखने के introduction, overview, body, feature 1. Don't do that. I'll be writing it for your reference, but make sure you do not write it. Clear हो गया? चलो आगे बढ़ते. Now done with the introduction. Now let's go on with the overview. I'm writing it for you. Make sure you don't write this in examination. I'm telling you again and again. ठीक है, चलो overview क्या है? Overview के लिए there is one opening statement that you can usually take in consideration, which is you can write generally presenting or overall, or overall it can be seen like that. So make sure you take up one opening statement and you can use in your responses. ठीक है, done. The opening statement is done. Overall, it can be seen that ठीक है. Overall, it can be seen that the process involves 7 stages in producing sugar from clear. Please either write short letters or leave one line in between them because it's confusing to read the string with fused with diagram and it's hard to read in previous page. Okay, fine. I'll try to provide gaps in my writing. Okay. Thank you so much for the feedback. ठीक है. Done. Sugar cane. A little bit of, brief of overview. Done. Nothing more than that. Okay? This is your entire overall and that's all. If you want to write it with introduction, you can write it with introduction as well. But if not, then it's better if you can just write it differently so that, bifurcation is easier and your presentation improves, right? ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now I'm going to start off with the process, the entire process. कुछ नहीं करना है. Whatever is there in the diagram, you just need to present it by using a proper connector in order to present it properly. ठीक है. सबसे पहले क्या हो रहा है? Growing of sugar cane is being done. Okay. Now, so what am I going to do? I'm just going to leave one line and then I'm going to start off with my writing. ठीक है. क्या हो गया? As the diagram suggests, the first steps involved growing of a sugar cane. Growing of what? Growing of sugar cane, which usually takes how much time? 12 to 18 months. It means a year to 18 months it usually takes. ठीक है? This is what we are going to write, which usually takes a year. क्यों? क्यों मैंने year लिखा? Because it is like here it's mentioned 12 months. ठीक है? तो I've just paraphrased it and write 12 months का 1 year to 18 months. Done? First step complete हो गया? Clear? So I have already written it takes sugar cane, growing of sugar cane for like around the timeline that's given is 12 to 18 months. Clear है? चलो. Okay. Now, full stop. Now, we can see that the harvesting is being done through two types. One is from machines. You can see over here. The first is done by machine and the second is done by human, which is known as manual or machinery used. ठीक है? तो अब यहाँ पे आ जाओ. Of sugar cane is done either You can write either through machinery or you can write either with the help of machinery. Can we write 365 to 574 days? 365 to 574 days is going to be a very much lengthy timeline that you are writing. I said that the clarity is very important. So for clarity, it's really very important to write as concise as you can. ठीक है, तो clarity के लिए concise चीजें लिखना is way more important than writing something which might be a little bit confusing and messy. Through machinery or clear. Second part is also completed at the same time. ठीक है, ठीक है. Now ये हो गया, done. Harvesting is being done. Okay, so if you're going for pen paper based test, kindly keep it crossed and all that. ठीक है, ऐसे क्रॉस मार्क कर दोगे, it will be very easy for you to track it. Otherwise वो बहुत ज़्यादा messy हो जाएगा, तो it's better. So just to be on the safer side. ठीक है, अब आ जाओ इधर. Third, crushing of what? Sugar cane to juice. Then it's been crushed to take out the juice. Then what happens? This is the third step. You can see the fourth step out here. Then, which then transferred through limestone filter. Done. Then we've got 5, 6th and 7th step left. We are done with this one. And then what we are going to write it. So either you can just change the paragraph if you want to, or else it's better for you to just write it in like one paragraph, because it will not include a lot of para bifurcation. But if you think that if you're going for PBT, आपकी handwriting बड़ी है, you can bifurcate the para. बहुत अच्छी बात है. अगर नहीं भी करना चाहते हो तो it's okay. You can just sum it up in one paragraph as well. ठीक है, अब आ जाओ, purification हो गया. Then evaporator. Done. So transferred for purification, through limestone filter. Furthermore, the evaporator is used for converting sugarcane juice to syrup, later to crystal, known as the process which is known as centrifuge. After that, done. And after that, drying and cooling of completed. Got it? So how it all started? It started off with, as the diagram suggests, the first step involves growing of sugarcane, which usually takes a year to 18 months. Then the harvesting of sugarcane is done either through machinery or with the help of humans. After that, sugarcane stalks are then crushed to extract juice, which then transferred for purification through limestone filter. Furthermore, the evaporator is used for converting sugarcane juice to syrup, later to crystal, known as centrifuge. Then drying and cooling is being done. Clear? This is the entire process, ranging from an introduction, overview, and the body paragraph. Clear? Ma'am, do the examiner gives marks for presentation like extra marks for good handwriting? No, you are not going to get extra marks for good handwriting. It's just that if you are going to present it nicely, it's going to be really easy for the examiner to understand it clearly, to which it becomes very easy for him to allocate you good band score, because eventually if you are not going to present a good handwriting and clarity in your responses, it might be possibility that you might not be able to get the band score that you deserve. Okay? So it's really very important, and majority of the time I have already told you that examiner is not going to put on any extra single second, any extra single minute in order to understand what you have written. So it's your responsibility. You are liable for the understanding of your your presentation and your responses. Clear? I hope you've got the answer. Okay? Chalo. Done with this entirely. Reading of the question, introduction, overview, body feature, and that's all. Okay? So yes, thank you so much for you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks a lot. And it was a wonderful session. After so long I met you all, so that's a great one. And I hope that you guys are practicing and preparing for your examination. And make sure you keep on learning, keep on growing, and all the very best to all the students who are preparing for your IELTS examination. Bye bye. Take care. See you in the next session. Bye.